In the heart of Colorado, anime fans come together to celebrate their geekdom. With joy abound, I bring to them an Otaku's Challenge, a quiz show filmed on site at Colorado Anime Fest 2019. Thus, I bring to you the OtakuDaiKun Challenge.
Alrighty, welcome to the OtakuDaiKun Challenge. This is a game show, one that we'll be filming to put on my YouTube channel, with all the fun bells and whistles placed on screen. Here, I invite you all to step up and take my challenge, answering a total of 9 questions from the anime that you get to pick from a list of all the questions I prepared. Essentially, we're here to find out if you know your favorite anime more than I do. You're allowed to play this game in teams of 3 if you choose, but you'll be splitting the prizes if you do. It plays a lot like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, in that you lose if you answer even one question incorrectly, but in exchange, you'll have the chance to earn 2 different lifelines that might just save you in a pinch. Here's how the game goes. The first contestant or contestants will come up to the table and select their first anime. From there, I will proceed to ask them 3 questions about that anime. The first question is easy, the second is medium, and the third is a hard question. The hard questions serve to test whether you truly know a given series. As such, it won't be limited to just the anime itself, but any detail about that world, possibly including extended universe materials. For instance, if a manga's story goes past what's in the anime, that manga material is fair game. This means that there will be general spoiler warnings for all the shows on this list. You might want to step out or cover your ears if someone chooses a show you don't want to be spoiled on. All the questions are open answer with no multiple choices. That said, if you can prove to me you know roughly what you're talking about, I might help nudge you in the right direction. I'm not out to trick anyone. If the player manages to answer all 3 questions, they'll get to choose one of 2 lifelines to proceed to round 2. One of the lifelines grants you the ability to ask the audience for help. That's the other lifeline, in which the player gets exactly 1 minute with their smartphone to try and come up with the answer. Then we begin the second round. Players will choose a second anime from the list and proceed to answer 3 more questions, just like in the first round. If the player succeeds there, they will earn the second lifeline, whichever one they didn't pick originally. From there, players select 1 final anime and answer 3 final questions. Pull that off, and you'll be able to brag to the world that you've completed the OtakuDaiKun Challenge. As a cherry on top, winners will get the opportunity to ask me any question of their own choosing from any of the anime on the list. Yes, you'll have the chance to stump me for even more prestige. And better yet, candy! For every question you answer correctly, you'll get to pick out one of these lovely Japanese snacks. Well, let's begin. Who wants to be our first contestant? You want to raise your hand?
I should raise it.
He raised it first. I said raise hand. So yes, come on up.
Let's go with Gurren Lagann.
Alrighty. That's not the right song. Easy question. Finish this sentence. If you can't believe in yourself, then
can't believe in yourself, then believe in the me that believes in you. No, it's the believe in the Simone that believes in you.
Character says it. Kami just says it as well.
Yeah, true.
But yes. It doesn't work like it, but that one. All right. Medium question. Why did Lord Genome disown Nia?
Because she was not human. She was an artificial being created by a different alien race that was trying to suppress the spiral gene.
Yes. And why did he decide to dump her in a trash bin?
Because she was a lifeless doll, and that she actually asked why she existed.
Absolutely. She questioned who she was and where she came from.
Yep.
Why did Lord Genome keep humans underground?
They had to stay at a certain population so that the Doomsday device didn't actually activate and kill all of humanity.
Yeah, and what did they call the humans?
Anti-spiral.
Yes, that's what the humans are called. Yep, the spiral race does not like the anti-spirals.
Yeah.
Now, you get the chance to choose a lifeline. Either ask the audience, or have your cell phone.
I'm gonna go with cell phone.
Alrighty. What is your next show?
My next show, I go Geass.
Alright. Easy question. What does Lelouch's Geass allow him to do, and what are its limits?
It allows his Geass allows him to command anybody as long as he's within eye contact, and as long as he specifies what the task is, they could be his slave for eternity. But he has to be very specific about it, and if he only does it if he only says what's on this next week's math test, he can't use his Geass again on that other person.
There are two other limitations.
It does not work on C2 or V2.
Yeah, so both of those are because they possess a code, which is cool. Yeah, that's what C2 has, and then what later Charles steals from his Roha. One final limitation.
He wanted to cancel the order, but he couldn't. He can't.
There you go.
He can't.
What he says is final.
Yep.
Minus their ability to suppress, which shows you even showed more knowledge. So thank you there. Medium question. At first, what does C2 want most besides pizza?
C2 in the beginning she wanted to die. That was her wish by Lelouch. And spoiler, she eventually changes her mind.
Absolutely. Know your shit.
The new movie comes out next month.
I know, I got tickets.
Same here. Are you going to the movie theater up north of Denver?
My closest is a Promenade in Westminster.
We'll be there in spirit.
Final question. What was the purpose of the Zero Requiem?
Oh, the purpose of the Zero Requiem was to make everyone hate Lelouch v. Britannia and join together to actually to defeat him and actually unite everybody together.
You're correct. What did that entail?
Yes, Suzaku faked his death so that he could take the place of Zero.
Yes, what he was doing at the end there was he became pretty much leader of the whole world to then have someone shank him. So that was the thing. He had to build himself up to then make the fall that much harder. So I think a lot of that time they were actually trying to conquer the rest of the territories and piss everyone off.
Yeah, basically. It's kind of almost like a Gundam plot. Have everybody hate you so that they all unite together to actually defeat you.
Alrighty, you have a third show.
Alright, let's go with... Well, I haven't seen Angel Beats in a while, but that's still a pretty good, memorable anime, so let's go for that.
Now you have both lifelines, remember that.
Right.
Alright, easy question. The students of the Afterlife War Front fight against Angel, or rather Kanade. Why are they mistaken in making her an enemy?
Well, she's trying to uphold the rules, and they all believe that if you follow the rules, you get assimilated. So they're trying to find God so they can ask why they put them through so much pain, and they believe that Angel actually knows where God is. So hence why they're SSS, rebel against the gods. They don't know if there's one god or multiple gods, but they believe Angel is the one that's able to find the answers.
Yes, absolutely. Basically, yeah, she's there to make sure that the school is upkept and everyone's following the rules, which was supposed to help them come to terms with their unfair deaths. And they didn't want to do that, even though it's in their best interest. And they didn't realize that. Absolutely. Medium question. Describe the major trauma that occurred with Yuri's family.
Okay, so she was the big sister in the family. She had a smaller sister. Burglars actually came into the home and killed her sister first, and then her. So it's kind of a home invasion kind of thing that ended up killing her. And then I think she might have killed one of them with the vase. I can't remember that part, but I know it was involving burglars.
Now, to my knowledge, and this isn't part of the question, but I don't think this is actually what kills her, this incident you're describing.
Oh.
But what else happens during it? Why was it so traumatic? It looks like we got an audience who knows it, too. Who thinks they do. If you so wish.
Sure, I'll go with my lifeline.
Alrighty.
Alright, so burglars broke into the house. She had 3 siblings, and so the 3 siblings, every 10 minutes that she took, they would kill one of the siblings, but because she had to go find something valuable, most valuable thing in the house. She took 30 minutes, all 3 of her siblings died from that, and thus, that was the tragedy that overstruck her.
Oh yeah.
Yep, they demanded the valuables, and she's like, I don't know what's valuable. My parents are rich, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, and then she tried to pick up like a large vase.
Yeah, that's the vase where she tripped over and broke it, and that's how all 3 siblings died.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, and she helped out with the last one, so perfect. Victory.
And you have a lifeline.
But yes, you are on the final question of all 9.
Alright.
Hard question for Angel Beats. What is the connection between Otonashi and Kaede during their days alive?
Oh man, this guy knows.
He knows the answer, and I don't remember.
Follow my boy right here.
He already used the lifeline.
You've got a lifeline to use your phone.
True. Okay. Kanashi. He's the one that actually lost his memory.
Yes, he's the main character, correct.
I would use your lifeline. You have one more left. It's the last question.
Alright. Yeah, last question. Alright, let's see if I can Google this. Alright. So, Alright, what was his name again?
Otonashi.
Oh my gosh, look at him stroking Saber like that.
She's my...
Otonashi and Angel's connection?
Correct. What you search is part of the challenge. Is that the final one? That's it. What do you have?
You could say he was stuck in limbo, because when he actually died, when he gained his memories, he actually was like, he convinced everybody that was trapped in the subway to be like organ donors, and so he didn't really have any regrets. But because of the head trauma he had, and lost his memory, that's why he was sent into this world. And for Angel, I believe it was like similar fate. I can't remember, but I think she lost her. No, she didn't lose her memory, but I don't think she had regrets. I couldn't find much on there because there's so much information.
There was one specific reveal you haven't covered, and it's a fairly big one. If you don't know it, I guess you might have to submit. You don't know.
Crap! I wish I rewatched it all over again.
I believe in you.
It's one big one.
The biggest plot, the end of the story.
Don't spoil it, though.
Oh.
Come on, you can do it. Just grab onto that last thought.
I think she was trying to find love, have a relationship. No, that's
Unfortunately not.
God damn it. Alright. I can't remember. What was it?
It was a heart transplant.
God damn it.
She had his heart.
Because he became an orphan.
Oh shit. Did not know that thing could bounce. Is it still recording?
Dang it.
Good. We're good.
I said organ donor, and I forgot that she was the heart transplant.
Anyway, no, you have. I'm very impressed. Every question I ask, you give abundantly extra information than the threshold needed. So thank you very much. Give him a hand and Dennis 8 pieces of candy. Any 8 things, be it gummies.
And our lifeline should come up and get one too.
You are. You totally earned one. You saved.
And then a pin, right?
Yes, pins for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody gets pinned. Woo!
Nice.
Cheers to our first contestant.
Thank you so much. You see me, you want to jump in.
All right.
I'd given permission to 5 people in the audience to slap me if I could. We're in for a show.
To clarify, I only had 2 sets of questions, so this is the last set of questions for Code Geass.
Okay.
Your first easy question is, what does having a code do for you, and how do you get rid of it?
Okay, so the people that have codes in the beginning are VV, CC, and then Charles eventually takes CC's code, and the code makes you immortal. And the way you get rid of it is you have to get the person previous who had the code into Akasha, and then kill them and then we get it.
Technically, the condition for passing it on is a little different.
Okay.
Can you think of it?
Oh man, am I gonna miss Akasha's first one? Does he have to make their wish come true?
No,
But no, he does.
It's a bit more basic than that.
Okay, all right. Hit me up. Tell me how I missed my first Code Geass
No.
So close.
You know this.
You got
Okay, okay.
It's more simple than.
It has to do with the person that's inheriting it.
And then they have to like lose control of their Geass, basically. Is that it?
That usually happens in the process of doing this, but
Acquire like the full power of the Geass.
and what does that look like?
By losing control of it, such as
Visually, what does it look like?
oh, gaining 2 Geasses in both eyes.
Correct.
Okay.
There you go.
Ooh, that was scary. That was scary. I think that was a bit harder than the first set.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. You can still slap me.
No,
Still
no,
got it
no.
right. It's
That
fine.
was a tricky one. I meant
Okay.
for that. Some of these are very difficult.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna put my knowledge to the test. I might not get them.
Okay, next question. This one I feel is a bit easier. It depends on memory.
Okay.
What is Colin Stotfeld's real name?
Oh man. I think I'm gonna lose this one, honestly, on that. Colin Staffeld's real name. I think I've lost this one.
You know why she has a different name, correct?
Okay, because her mother is Japanese, but her father is a Britannian. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay, yes.
So her last name is Japanese, but you don't.
Right, I don't fully remember her mother's Japanese name.
It's tricky. It
Okay.
has the same starting letter as her first name.
Starts with a K-A, but I don't remember. Katzefeld or something like that, maybe. But am I close?
It's not that.
Okay.
For brownie points, to finish off this set of questions,
Okay.
would someone like to help out with that answer? It's not a lifeline.
All right, Leia. Kazuki.
Colin Kozuki, correct.
Okay.
That, I would have
Okay,
given it
Kozuki.
for that.
All right.
I wouldn't have gotten crazy.
All
over
right, I'm
the
giving it to
yeah.
her. That's not me. I
Absolutely.
failed the Code Geass challenge.
Okay, and then the hard question would have been, and you can answer because otherwise I don't have a whole nother set.
Okay, we'll see.
Find out what it is. What was C2's Geass power, and why did she dislike it?
So her Geass power is to make people like her, but then since she used it so much like people like her, it was all artificial love, and when she realized everybody artificially loved her, that's what made her hate the world and detest it, and eventually want people to kill her. And that's why she tried to find Lelouch out to do it. Is that close?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a proposition.
Okay.
Since I did mention you can come up here in teams of 3, would you like to join his team and carry him, help him with the rest of it?
And then can I choose a third member?
Wait.
If you'd like.
Wait, question then. If I want to volunteer as next tribute.
You certainly could do so.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all we need to know. So Leia, you get up here. Austin, you get up here, and I know our next anime.
All right, you are the leader.
Okay.
You choose the next show.
Toradora. Greatest love story
Toradora.
ever told.
I have to say this. Anime table flip.
What was that look of?
Oh no, I'm just glad people like Toradora. This one only has one set of questions, so this will be it. Alrighty. Easy question. What is Taiga's nickname among her schoolmates?
Pulp Top Tiger.
That was quick. It was an easy question for a reason. Awesome. You earn a victory theme.
This is a cheating show for us.
What do most people think of Ryuji's appearance, and how is it related to his father?
He has a stern look, and he looks like a thug because his father was actually a gangster. So everyone thinks he is a gangster himself.
Delinquent.
Giggity damn.
Term. Delinquent.
Yeah, I wrote delinquent.
Okay.
I like the way. I like your sack.
He's gonna put
All
blonde
right.
hair just like his best friend.
This is the hard one.
Okay.
Why does Minori turn down Ryuji's confession?
Because she knows that Taiga actually loves him and doesn't want to hurt her best friend.
And she says a lot of bullshit about UFOs and aliens.
Hold on, maybe that's why he likes her.
Well, that's probably true.
Alrighty, so you now have 2 lifelines.
Okay.
Okay, what's our next one? Okay, what show do you guys know?
Everything on here.
Okay,
So,
you pick a
I-
show.
You know
I'll tell
everything.
Everything's over 10.
That's okay.
Okay.
You got any others? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, ideally I would say try to do ones that you know best, and they can be your backup.
Oremo, Clannad, you gotta say if any of these are good with you. Mirai Nikki. You wanna do Mirai Nikki? Let's do Mirai Nikki. I haven't seen it in like 3 years. Let's do it.
That's a good one.
Take what I say.
What is the prize for winning the survival game?
Becoming God.
He doesn't even give me a chance to answer.
Do you want to try answering for me?
I'm just the mascot.
I want to hear what you have to say next, first.
Okay.
Just maybe it'll be more entertaining. No, I trust you.
While we sit here in agony, just to like, you know.
Medium question. What was Yuno's relationship with her adopted parents? And how did it end?
Oh boy. Okay, so her and her adopted parents. Let's just say it ends with her sitting on a throne of skulls. She murders her adopted parents. Spoilers, by the way. I'm sorry.
What did they do to her?
This is where I'm gonna fail, and I'm gonna call on my 2 beautiful lifelines.
So they wanted her to be the perfect student, so they kept her in a cage. If she was disobedient, she had to stay on a strict schedule. If she went off by 1 milligram of anything, of grades, attendance, curfew, studying, she got put into that cage for a very long time. Could be days on end,
Did they feed her?
barely.
Like a dog.
Yes, there was a time when I think she said she had to eat the fabric that was underneath the cage to survive. Yes. And how did she kill her parents?
Was it with a knife?
Okay, I think she did that after they died,
Okay.
but I totally give credit for this. This is for fun because I like to, we're learning about the show as we do it.
Right.
But yes.
Right.
To my knowledge, she tricked them, got them locked in the cage where they starved, and then she
Yes.
chopped them up.
Yes, I remember them in the cage as well. So yes.
Crazy stuff.
Did
No, you're good. We discover that there are 3 worlds shown in the story. What happens to Yuno from each of these worlds?
Okay, well I know at least in one of the worlds, kills her alternate self to be with the main character. I don't know about the other one.
So first route, she wins and becomes God to teleport herself to second timeline where she, main character does stuff differently because she knows the outcome of the game and she's going to keep winning perpetually to keep staying with the main character forever. But main character wins, so it goes to third timeline, which is Radial, where the main character becomes God instead, and then finds Yuno again.
In the 4th world.
And he breaks down like the black abyss that he's been sucked in for thousands of years in depression, and she breaks it down to be with him.
So she breaks it down, that's important.
Yes, yes.
Now, what did you say happened to the second one?
In the second world,
Yes.
So the second
I
world
didn't hear
Yuno was
that.
killed by first world Yuno and hidden with the body with her parents. So that
Right.
way she could take that, so she could pretend to be second world Yuno when it was actually first world Yuno.
Yep, first wins, goes to a new world, kills the second. He wins, but she goes to another world, wins that, and then she comes back. Which is absolutely insane.
For me.
Now, I believe that was all
For
9.
Yuki.
Was that all 9?
I think that was all
Yeah.
right.
I'm pretty sure it
Alright.
was.
Toradora
Alright.
and Future Diary.
So, you guys have completed the OtakuDaiKun Challenge! So that's 9 candies, and now you get to ask me a question from anything on that list. Pertaining to the story, the lore.
Oh my.
Kind of want to have you try to finish this quote. It's a really easy one. Charles Z. Britannia seeks the past. Schneisel seeks the present. But Lelouch...
I mean, I actually don't remember the quote. I'll be perfectly honest about that. I don't know if you're leading on me to say future, but that's...
that was it.
Oh, you can give me a hard
I was
one.
throwing you a little snowball so you can
Yes.
catch it.
Absolutely.
Alright, you got a better one, Austin?
I do. How much do you know Monogatari series?
Hit me.
Okay. What is Hanekawa's most famous line? She repeats it throughout the series many times.
Ah, shit.
You got this. You got this.
I'm gonna start it.
I'm gonna tell you.
I don't know everything, comma.
Actually, nope.
That's the next
I
part.
know
I
what
don't
I
remember
know.
it.
I only know what I know.
I could bullshit it, but I do not know.
I don't know everything. I
Give
only
it the
know what I
old
know.
college try, as they say.
Wait, you're not saying the answer right now?
No, that was the answer.
Yeah, I thought you just said it.
I
I could just repeat what you just said. But no, absolutely.
All right, lady.
Congratulations. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, total of 10 candies. Split amongst yourself however you want.
Oh,
I'll
jeez.
take a few Pockies. I don't want to take 10.
You don't have to take all, but you're entitled.
Can you hand me two?
Thanks for hearing it.
You're welcome.
You want to step
We're
up?
already
I
talking.
might want. I told you.
All right.
Challenge.
Yep.
He's got an hour.
Here we go. Easy question. What does Kazuma choose to take with him into the new world?
The useless goddess Aqua.
Absolutely. You got the right title there that was not listed on the sheet. We all know it though. Medium question. What does Kazuma typically acquire when using his steel ability?
Pantsu.
You are 100% specific.
White ones from the thief girl.
That's even better. I did not... I really should have done that. I should have tested that. Hard question. Why did Kazuma once ask his parents to divorce and remarry?
I've only watched the anime. Hey, maybe it was to get away from the first girl that admitted to liking him.
Would you like to look on your phone or ask the audience? Does anyone in the audience have an idea?
Because I don't know where my phone is. I think it's
Someone else can use their cell phone and help you. That's okay too.
Alright. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Do not know.
You like his stepmother better?
What else would he gain in addition to a stepmother?
A sister.
And why would that make him happy?
Ew.
Does that count as an answer?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm giving it. You have a different show.
Higurashi no Nakukoro ni.
Okay, only one set of questions for this. How does the Sonozaki family decide to punish Shion?
They rip off her fingernails.
I'm giving it to you.
Device.
Technically, they try to have her do it to herself. And then she couldn't do it, she backed out, and then they did it for her.
But Mion was looking over the process.
Oh yes, she's definitely the one that said do it. The whole family was watching. This is no fun.
You know, Shion were switched even at birth.
Yeah, that gets crazy. If you ask me, like, at any given moment which one is which, I'd be like, that's trickier. Medium, what is causing the town's residents to go insane?
Which is totally fine.
It's the nurse. I mean, it's the nurse. Hers. She's releasing the pathogen that's making the town go insane.
Do you know what they call that?
Hinamizawa syndrome?
Damn. Yo, absolutely. What is Furude Rika's connection to Hinamizawa?
I think her family. I think the matriarch of her family is the patron goddess of the village.
Do you know the name of that?
I know her nickname.
What would that be?
Hanyu.
Yeah. And what happens to her every time she dies?
I think the timeline loop worked in this show specifically that she went to an alternate world at the beginning of the three-day cycle.
Absolutely, yes. Hanyu salvages her and creates a new alternate reality for them to try again.
Woo!
You are a bad speaker.
It's the phone.
Oh, that's the rubber thing. My
Yep.
bad. What is your third show?
It is Akame got killed.
All right, easy question. How does Tatsumi discover the Empire's corruption? What happened to his childhood friend, Sayo?
Crucified in a dungeon.
By whom?
The rich family that took him in.
Absolutely, yes. She was tortured to death by a noblewoman. What is the name of the group established to counteract Night Raid?
The Jaegers.
Oh yeah. How do Akame and her sister Kurome wind up being assassins?
I think they were both orphans, and they were seen by the Empire, and they were among the first candidates to be elite assassins for the Empire.
Totally. They were sold as children and forced to train in that survival challenge by the Empire, absolutely. And that was all 9, wasn't it? I think you did it.
Yeah.
You have to go to the OtakuDaiKun challenge! Now you get to ask me something.
Okay.
Make it good.
Sieg somehow obtained the power of 2 servants because he was near them when they died.
Absolutely, yeah.
One should be obvious, the second is a little obscure.
Sieg gave his heart, or Siegfried gave his heart to Sieg, and then Fran died, and he got lightning powers and shit from that to be able to do Blasted Tree.
That is absolutely correct.
Yay! Ask me fake questions.
Big question.
And who wants to be the next contestant? Okay.
All right.
That was quick.
Was that a little too noticeable, or?
I think that's wonderful. That's kind of how you have to when it's a big crowd.
Yep. Here goes our next.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Let's go with Death Note.
Ah, I love that. Easy question. What does Ryuk say happens to those who use the Death Note after they die?
They do not get to go to heaven or hell. They are stuck in limbo.
Absolutely.
Woo! It's okay. It has an after.
Oh, no, that's wonderful. What do the Shinigami eyes do, and what is the price to get them?
You have to use half of your lifespan, and you're able to see other people's lifespan unless they carry a death note themselves. The benefit is that they see the other person's
Oh, name and their lifespan.
Oh, okay.
That's
You know
I
what?
forgot.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
I'm so sorry.
But I know you know it.
Thank you.
Okay. This might be tricky. Might not. What is L's true name?
El Aliet.
Wonderful.
I used to be in love with him.
Yes. My brother is not a good.
He was the first anime death I cried over so hard that my younger sister was so terrified of what happened. She called my mom while at school, and my mom had to calm me down and say, "What's wrong? Is everything okay? Were you hurt? Was there something?" Like, she thought I was completely traumatized by something. I said, "No, an anime character died." And she's like, "It's okay. It's a TV show. You can rewatch it. It'll be alive."
He falls from his chair.
Let's do Steins Gate.
Nice. Good.
Easy question. What is Hoen Kyoma's catchphrase? What he says after he gets off the phone.
El Sai Kanguru. It's so cool.
Medium, how does Okabe ultimately overcome the fact that the attractor field prevents him from saving Kurisu's life in the radio tower?
He faked Kurisu's death by stabbing himself and using it, making his past self realize that Kurisu was actually dead, thus continuing the timeline.
Correct. They figure out that the attractor field is not that she dies, but that he thinks she dies. Absolutely. What do the initials FB stand for, and who is FB?
Brown is the B. Now the F is the hard part.
If you want to tell me more about who he is.
He's originally the shop owner.
What does he sell?
He sells electronics.
Specifically?
TVs.
What kind?
What's the technical term for that? Analog's not the right term, is it? No.
That's certainly... What?
What's he on his apron?
Oh yeah, what does he have on his apron?
Can I use a human lifeline?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go with...
It has like a small TV on top of it, with like a base, I guess, and it says I heart CRT.
CRT, yep. And then, what else is he though?
He's Shining Fingers Contact, I know that.
Mm-hmm. And who is she with?
She's with... Oh gosh.
What big organization in the story?
It's called the organization.
Well, that's what he calls everything.
Oh, it's... Yeah, I'll use that lifeline.
All right.
May I please borrow your cellular device? Thank you.
I'm sure you'll find it, like, immediately.
Don't go through my history.
Don't worry. I'll show you my history if I accidentally go through it. CERN.
Yup.
What was the first step?
The first set of steps, and then...
Maybe I'm mixing it up because you were helping me before. Yes.
10 next time. 10.
Let's go with Cowboy Bebop to finish it off. Let's see if I can make it through that.
Woo!
All right. Easy question. What is the occupation of Spike in the Bebop crew?
They're bounty hunters.
What do they also call them?
Oh, space cowboys.
Yep. Medium. What does Spike claim about his eyes?
They see the present and they see, one of them sees the past for sure. Then, what's the other tense of time? One sees the past and one sees the future.
Is that your final answer?
No! Okay. One sees the past, that is half of my answer locked in for that. And the other half sees the present.
But it's the fact that he has an artificial eye after it was injured, and he claims that eye sees the present,
Oh.
but his old eye can only see the past. Yep. But that you don't. You definitely showed that you know it. What is the past drama between Spike, Vicious, and Julia?
Julia was on the run, and Spike was trying to protect her, but Vicious was sent to kill them both because they were working for, I forgot the group's name, but they were working for another group that was after them, because, what was the thing?
What was Spike's old job?
He was a hitman.
For whom?
Oh, what was that bastard's name?
Not a specific name, but I guess the group.
Yeah. What do you give me organizations?
What the group do? What did the group do?
They.
You already said what Spike did for them, so what do they do in
Oh,
general?
they said they were like a mafia. No?
Basically. Basically, yes. The Red Dragon Crime Syndicate.
Right.
So, Spike was a part of that. Can you fill in some more blanks now?
Oh, yeah, he was trying to break away from them. You really can't break away from a mafia. So, Vicious was after him because he was basically betraying the group and trying to break off.
Yep, pretty much. I was just double checking to see if there was one extra detail that was supremely important. I would definitely say you got it. The OtakuDaiKun challenge, and they now ask me. Try and stop me on something that'll rack my brain.
Who was the person that killed Light Yagami?
He was dying because he got shot up by Matsuda. Or is it Matsuda? I think it's Matsuda. Yeah.
But who?
But at the end of the day, he's like, oh, I'm dying, shit. But then Ryuk's like, oh, sorry, dude, I told you I was going to do this. Awesome, and that is as many as you would like.
So,
yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that much.
First show.
Monogatari series.
Yeah. Easy question. Why is Koyomi Araragi not an ordinary high school student?
Because he's a vampire, or partially a vampire, a human, not quite a vampire.
Yes, and what does that let him do, for one?
He has healing abilities, slightly healing, but other than that, he retains his normal human values.
Yeah, and very basically, how did he become one?
Because he gave his blood to Shinobu, or Kiss Shot, to become a vampire because she made him a servant. So he retained his vampire form because at the end of Kizu, when they fought, he drained all of her, making her become a vampire, but not just a very low class vampire that hides in the shadow.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yeah, that was definitely above and beyond.
Yeah.
Basically, blood bond with Cutie. When Karen Araragi wants Koyomi to introduce her to Kanbaru, what challenge does Koyomi put her through?
The toothbrush scene, the famously known toothbrush scene.
Yes, and what does that entail?
So the stimulation from the outside wouldn't be enough because she's trained her body up so much. So the only way to get through to her basically is to go from the inside, which is her mouth, because that's more sensitive than anywhere else on her body.
And for how long?
4 minutes, I believe. 4 or 5.
I've got 5, but
Okay,
totally, that was
5
just
minutes?
for fun.
Okay. Sure, sorry.
I write as many details as possible in the question just to make sure I'm not full of shit. But no, absolutely. Why did Deishu Kaiki con Senjo Gahara's family?
So she was her mother was part of a cult, and so what happened was the mom's cult was tearing the family apart, and one of the members of the cult almost raped her, and she pushed him away. So basically, Kaiki got involved. Afterwards, due to this incident, she got a spirit infected her, to almost say, and it was a crab spirit, and it lost all of her weight. So to get rid of it, Kaiki got hired and involved to try to get rid of it, and it was like one of the first contacts she gave to try to get rid of her spirit problem.
Yes. He was involved because he wanted to separate her from that struggling family, but he doesn't want anyone to know that he actually did something he thought was good for her.
Yes.
Because he's a douchebag, but he actually means well.
Well, yeah.
He's a very complex and weird dude.
Absolutely. That's the best girl.
And that was the Monogatari.
Do a second set? I want to do a second set. You got one. So Ashley's down here. If you don't, no worries. Come see what.
If you do one other, we can come back to it.
Okay. That's fine. Alright.
Otherwise, you just win it on Monogatari alone.
I probably could. But
He would.
yeah, let's do Panty and Stocking card.
Alright.
That was my best.
What are Panty and Stocking, and why are they on Earth?
So they're angels, but they're very bad angels. So they got they fell from heaven and have to get heaven coins to purchase their way back into heaven.
Absolutely. What are each of the Anarchy sisters tempted by?
So Stockings is sweet. She is tempted by anything that has sugar in it or calories. She loves that. And then Panty is all about sex and her lust desire for males.
Perfect. It's funny. Despite being a total geek, Brief's junk has a surprising ability. What can his Johnson be used for?
It is the key that opens up the door that is it Hell City? Is what it's called? Yes, and the key that opens it up. So, but he has like a key basically on his Johnson, and and it unlocks. And at the end of the show, it unlocks. Panty becomes the virgin again, and it re-unlocks her angel abilities.
Which is just ridiculous.
I loved it.
She got her virginity back.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
But yes, absolutely. And as promised, we'll go back to Monogatari.
Oh. Does it reset eventually?
That's what
I was just
reset.
once.
To get your virginity back, can you go through like a big circle and it resets to 0 eventually?
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot why she got it back. I almost feel like it was like punishment.
That was punishment, yeah.
So like,
exactly what she
how
had.
dare you?
Instead of saving the world, she was screwing guys, so as punishment, she got
And then
her
she was
virginity.
like, ow, I can't believe this hurts again.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, second set of Monogatari questions. And yes, I think you already answered this, but we'll come back to it. What does Senjo Gahara lose after encountering a heavy stone crab?
Oh, she's lost overweight.
And what does she accept to get it back?
She accepts that her mother, like, the whole situation, and that she blamed on herself, and so she accepted it, her feelings towards her parents or her mother again, rather, and it got all her weight back. Because the whole thing is a weight crab, it was like the emotion crab as well.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah.
She took the weight of her emotions off,
Yes.
took her own weight with her, and to get them back she had to remember and confront everything once more. Yeah, the next series I want to do a lore on might be Monogatari.
Oh, please do.
Because it's so much fun.
So good.
What is underneath Kanbaru Sugura's arm wrap, and what does it compel her to do?
It's the monkey's paw, so basically it's like an ironic way of getting what she wants. So, or it's the devil, the rainy devil, rather. So,
Yep.
The rainy devil. So it's an ironic way of getting what she wants. So, for example, she wanted to win a race, so instead of speeding her up, it basically mauled everyone else in the race, so she'd win automatically.
Absolutely, yep. A rainy devil's arm that compels her to attack her competitors in track, essentially. Yep. Final question. How does Kaiki convince Nariko Sengoku to revert to being human?
Okay, so he goes to the shrine every day for a month and gives her 100 yen. So, and convinces her to come out and starts teaching her Cat's Cradle and basically gain her trust over time. And so when she says at the end saying, "Oh, the main characters died," to get her to stop trying to kill them, she knew he was a liar at that point. And his big thing was he knew that she wanted to be a manga artist, and so used the whole thing of, hey, don't you want to do something with your life? And even though everyone else might laugh at you, like that's what you want to do, so do what you want.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You have completed the OtakuDaiKun challenge!
I just don't wait.
You guys
Before we get
stumped
into the
me.
question.
What's Shinobu's full name?
Oh, yeah, Shinobu's full name.
That's actually one of these questions.
Oh, is it really?
You can come up with a different one.
Okay. I'll do
Good
that.
try.
That is a good one, though. So with the situation with the shrine at the end of, I believe it's Owari, how do they solve the situation with the shrine? Who becomes the next deity?
Don't think I've seen Owari, so I think you're good.
All right.
Yep, that is, I think, the one I haven't seen.
Oh, okay.
I need to get into the newest season, too.
Yes.
Senjo Gahara, my favorite.
Yes, Senjo
shows up again, and I'm like, yay!
Yes.
So yes, you have stumped me.
All right.
Woo! Yes.
Good job, Austin.
Yeah, anybody.
10 pieces.
I know you know
Yeah, well,
stuff.
that one done.
There's no trigon.
I'll probably ask someone else.
You know, I really should have had Trigun on that list. Because I have seen Trigun.
I'm going Goblin Slayer first.
Ah,
Ooh.
new stuff. Easy question. When making a full-on assault, how do goblins protect themselves from arrows?
They use women as their meat shields.
Yep, absolutely.
That was that final battle with the Goblin King.
Aside from Goblin Slayer, what do others use to address? What other name do they use to address him?
Orkbolg and Beard Cutter?
You got an extra one. Yes, Orkbolg.
Beard Cutter was the one by the dwarf shaman.
I think he was the only one that called him that.
Yeah.
But everyone else like, no, you're
I'm Asian.
Yeah.
It's R.
So many bulbs.
Goblin Slayer was once mentored by Araya, who asked him a rather Tolkien riddle.
Oh.
What was that riddle?
Oh.
Famously also spoken by Bilbo.
Doesn't he ask, does he want to live as one of them?
I think he does, but it's his final question that they never show anyone's answer to, which is weird in the manga or the anime.
The last quote?
Yeah, he asks a question that just kind of cuts after he asks it, which is really weird. Maybe they'll develop it later. Do you know The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Do you remember the question that stumps Gollum?
What's in his pocket?
Yep. What do I have in my pocket? I have no idea why that's in there, but he does ask him that question.
Yeah, that's right. I've read the manga and none of them answer it.
Yeah, he doesn't get an answer, but he does ask it. Like, oh, that's your question.
But I don't know Hobbit.
What else?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you completed that set.
I'll go with Steins Gate.
Perfect. Easy question. I actually think it's a little bit harder because it's the second easy question, but why did Okabe Rintaro develop his mad scientist persona?
It was for Mayuri. When Mayuri was crying because her parents were dead, he wanted to act like a mad scientist because he was going to capture her or like keep her prisoner.
Absolutely. Yeah, technically it's his grandma, or her grandma that died, I believe. Okay. But it's, yeah, he did it to take her hostage, which was his weird way of cheering her up.
Yeah,
basically, by taking her hostage, it's like saying, I'll be there for you, and it's really weird. Absolutely.
It's like a Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing.
I'm a mad scientist, absolutely. The anime's first season details two main attractor fields, Beta and Alpha, each resulting in a dystopian future. What is the difference between these futures? How do they each wind up in disaster? Remember, they fix one, and then they find out there's more, that this new world is just as screwed as their old one.
It's the reason why, Susaha was the one with the double, ponytails, right? Or twin tails? Yeah. Susaha? With the bike? She's whenever Kurisu came in, she got
yes, she was upset because Kurisu, for one reason or another, was working with one of the groups.
CERN.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this was the CERN one. She was upset with Kurisu because she was working with CERN at that point in that future.
Yeah, I think Kurisu was the one who was basically leading CERN, right?
So that's a bit more specific than I even need. So on that world line, how does the world wind up sucking?
It wasn't a bomb, was it?
No, more in general, what do they do?
With the experiments they're doing?
What does that lead them to eventually do in the dystopian world that Suzuha comes and complains about? If you want to use the lifeline, we got that right over here.
Yep.
I'll pick him.
Starts World War III.
Technically not.
The War of Time Machines.
That is a different world line. But yes, that is one of the others, and I'll accept that as an answer for it. Yep. So when they get back, they find out that the world that they were trying to say was going to wind up in World War III anyway, as people raced to make the time machine. But on the CERN one, it's a little bit different. It's actually a lot more straightforward. Do you remember why they're on that world line to begin with?
Where the story was at?
Like how they wound up on the alpha beta line in the first, the alpha world line in the first place.
I think Chris actually died.
Yes, and what did that make him do? When he saw it, was the first thing he decided to do. He's in the radio building, he sees her dead, and then he's like, oh shit. And what does he decide to do?
Doesn't he send a message up to himself?
Not to himself, but what happens to the message?
Damn it.
At this point, we're just going for fun's sake, but absolutely.
Remember this one?
Yeah. So CERN was able to intercept that D-mail. Remember that? They have it on their records.
I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah, he sent the very first D-mail, and that's what switched him to a world when he looked up at the radio building, and he's like, why is there a time machine stuck into the building?
Oh, he was sent to like a different...
Yeah, he went to the other world line, which is the alpha world line that he's been stuck in and trying to get out through the majority of the first series. And it's because CERN got his D-mail, and in that future, they take over the world. There is no war because they found out time travel first.
Okay.
And we will go on to the next one for... Yeah, absolutely. Makise Kurisu most wants a personal fork to accompany her own spoon. But who gave her the spoon? Why didn't she have the fork to go with it? This is definitely an extended material sort of question.
So the actual question is, who gave her the...
Yeah, she wanted a fork to accompany her spoon. How did she originally get the spoon? And why the heck does she not have the fork?
I'm going to have to use my lifeline for this one.
Absolutely.
I don't remember that one.
It's the hard one.
The question was, who gave it to her?
Yes. 10 more.
Oh god. The person who gave her the fork or a spoon. It wasn't Akame, was it?
It was not him. He got her the fork to complete her collection.
This is from the regular Steins Gate, right? Not Zero?
It's from the regular Steins Gate, but it's also, I believe, one of the derivative works from it. It was a spin-off manga series that clarified these details, but using knowledge from the first Steins Gate, I'll see what we can do. What's her past?
Chris's past?
Yeah, before she shows up, basically. Like, what's her family like?
I actually don't know this one.
Oh, okay. Does anyone know this one?
Her dad was the scientist.
Yes, absolutely. So her dad's a douche, tried to steal her work from her. She was the one who actually made the theory on time machines. He was going to steal it, and that's why their argument led to him killing her in the radio building.
Oh yeah, that's the ass how they tried.
So basically, she's had a bad relationship with her father. The reason she has a spoon but no fork is because her father gave her the spoon for one of her birthdays. But the following year, she and her father got into an argument over the time machines, and he refused to give her a birthday present.
Oh,
which is such a douche thing to do.
Yeah. Asshole dad. That presents the word.
Yeah. But definitely, no, that was one of the trickiest questions I think I wrote for this. So thank you for letting me encounter that and
well done.
Speak it. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who wants to take the challenge?
Yes, and our lifeline gets a piece of candy too.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
sure.
How much do I get?
What is your first series?
Let's go with Black Lagoon. It's the only one that I'm slightly confident in.
You got this. You got this.
What is the name of the fictional city in which the Lagoon Company operates, and what country is it in?
Oh shit, country. I know it's Runapur. Can't remember exactly which country. I think it's somewhere near the Southern Asian area, I think, or like Middle East.
Bangkok is the capital.
Bangkok. Oh, Thailand.
Yep.
Thailand, yeah.
Ruanapur, Thailand. Yes. That's where mine is. This one's definitely a bit trickier. What term does Dutch invent to describe Revi's unpredictable violent killing sprees?
Ooh, two hands? No, that's the nickname, obviously.
I'll give you the harder of the two, and if you can get the other word, I'll totally go for it. Whitman blank.
Can't remember it.
What happens when you get sick and your temperature goes really high? What do you?
Fever. Whitman fever? Oh,
absolutely. Then
I'm only here
this.
for Black Lagoon, anyways.
Sure. This will be the final question.
Woo!
Revi had a rough past before reaching Ruanapur. Describe her early life.
I believe she was an orphan, so she lived on the streets. So she had to fight to survive, and I believe she was raped at some point in between, which also is basically results in her violent nature, more or less, kind of because of that rough early life in America.
Okay. Chinatown. Since you said
because she's Chinese American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was in Chinatown. She was not entirely alone, though. There's one extra detail.
I can't say I know that one.
All right, yeah, the extra catch was that she had an abusive alcoholic dad. And after that abuse, because it was a police officer that did it,
okay,
she goes home and kills daddy and goes off on her own, which is quite the backstory.
It's been a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you so much. And thank you all for coming out here. Again, if you want an OtakuDaiKun pin just for being here, got it in a box right over here. Thank you very much, and definitely feel free to check out the channel.
Woo!
And as always, celebrate your fandom.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this channel, help me beat the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and most of all, smashing that notification bell as if it were your waifu. That way you'll never miss out on all of my anime content, lore videos, live streams, and Holy Waifu Wars polls. My vids are struggling to get featured, so that bell is absolutely critical. If you want to support me directly, check out my Patreon, or consider donating via Super Chat. And as always, celebrate your fandom.